How nice it would be if the victims of all the unsolved cases could find a way to tell the world the reason for their death or about their murderers. But nothing like this can happen. It is not possible at all. You are thinking something like this, aren't you? But would you believe me if I told you that there are some cases in which the victims' spirits communicated with the people to let them know about their terrible fate? Today, I have such a story for all my subscribers in which the spirit of a woman was so determined as if she had decided she would not leave her place until she gets justice.
Is going to be armed with a knife. She's an 18-year-old female. This is mixed race. I think it might be with Asian. She's wearing a pink tank top.
This case involves a Filipino woman named Teresita Basa. It was the year 1929, and Teresita was in her 30s. She moved to the United States to study music. She eventually settled in Chicago, Illinois, and later worked as a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital. She was described as a modest, kind, and hard-working woman who devoted all her time to the patients at the hospital. No one can imagine anyone having spite against her. Teresita's family can never forget that scary night of 21st February 1977. This was the day that convinced every person that ghosts do exist around us. At around 10:30 p.m., a neighbor called the fire department.
Fire department.
Yeah, so I heard what sounded like an explosion in the apartment below me, and it looks like it's on fire.
So you can actually see the fire?
Yeah, I smelled smoke and went out onto my balcony, and I could see orange flames through the window below me.
When the firefighters arrived at the apartment, they found a mattress on fire in the living room, and thankfully, the fire was put out quickly, and the entire apartment did not catch fire. The firefighters noticed a small hump on the mattress and lifted it to discover a woman's naked body. It was Teresita Basa, who would be 48 years old at the time. Police interviewed Teresita's family and friends, but found no leads as to who might have wanted to kill her. After a thorough search of the apartment, the police found a clue that was a note in her diary reading, "Get tickets for AS." Obviously, she would have written down this on paper, as it was 1973, and people wrote things on notepads only to remember their everyday tasks. Now, the police had to find out who AS was. Who was it that Teresita knew and did such a horrible thing to her? 6 months passed and the police could not solve the case. And then came a tip again. But this time, it was a bit strange. A surgeon named Dr. Jose Chua claimed that his wife, Remy, who worked as a respiratory therapist just like Teresita in the same hospital, had been possessed by Teresita's ghost on 3 occasions. He said that whenever his wife was possessed, she spoke in Teresita's native language. Her first words were, "Doctor, I would like to ask for your help. The man who murdered me is still at large." Dr. Chua stated that while Teresita possessed his wife, she said she was murdered by a man named Alan Showery, who came to her apartment to repair her TV and then stabbed her to death to steal her jewelry. Wait for a second, if it was just a case of theft, then why were there no clothes on Teresita's body? To find out, it is necessary to know what the complete message was that Teresita tried to convey to the police through Remy's body. The couple told the police that Teresita's spirit would never let them live peacefully if they did not help her. Surprisingly, detectives were interested in Chua's claims. There was the fact that Alan Showery's initials were AS, which they'd seen in Teresita's diary. Police called Dr. Chua and his wife Remy to the police station to find out the complete truth. Remy said that she began to have these bizarre encounters of Teresita's spirit just after her death. One night, Remy was in the hospital because of her night shift. She went to the hospital's lounge to take a break, and just after a while, she saw Teresita's spirit right in front of her, staring at her. She wanted to forget this encounter, thinking she had just had a bad dream and nothing else. But when the same thing happened to her again, she got scared and assumed that Teresita's spirit was still wandering and wanted to say something to her. Now, this was about to happen for the second time, and it would be so hard for Remy's family as Teresita's spirit would not only be seen by Remy, but would also use her body. Remy reached her home in an exhausted condition from the hospital at midnight. When her husband asked her, "Is everything okay?" she suddenly started talking in Tagalog language, Teresita's native language, and that, too, in a completely different tone. It seemed like someone else was speaking, not Remy. Remy was asleep, but more in a possessive state. She said, "My name is Teresita Basa, and I request you to go to the police station to help me solve my case. The person who took my life is Alan Showery." Teresita legit took the name of her murderer using Remy's body as a host. After some 30 minutes, Remy came out of her trance state, but she didn't remember anything. It usually happens in possession stories in which the ghost uses someone's body to speak its words, and because your body was used as a host over which you had no control, you don't remember anything after being in that state. I believe something similar happened with Remy. Remy's husband thought it was all nonsense. Nothing is as it seems, and even if there is some truth in their story, no one will believe their words. So they decided not to take it to the police. After a few days, Remy got possessed for the third time, and this time she kept asking why neither of them had gone to the police till now.